So let's get into this show.
Woohoo!
Woo! Gonna have a good time!
Yeah!
That theme song, let me tell you, never gets old. Neither does the
doesn't.
ending. I didn't skip either one. I love that anime-ass shoujo ending.
I actually got the
so
ending stuck in my head far more commonly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I mean, it's because it's very, very simple. That's just, like, music theory.
Yeah, and the opening is so fluid animation-wise. It's just like the movement. It's like constant and it's great, and you're like yeah. Like it really makes you want to watch it super bad. No wonder a fandom bursted immediately after it was shown in
That blurry
Comic-Con.
bootleg opening.
Yeah, because the opening
I was
itself
sold.
was so good. What Comic-Con was that?
Was that the one that was the one that we did the episode that we never want to talk about?
I think so.
Not 7. It's canonically episode not 7.
Yep.
So that one, yeah. I wonder if we talked about it. We'll never know. No one will ever know because no one's gonna listen to it.
Nope.
No, I'm pretty sure we did, though.
Probably, yeah.
And part of why I'm so eager to talk about this is because it is sort of... Well, it and Steven are at the epicenter of a cultural movement right now where we're seeing... And we talked about this a bit last week with that Harvey episode, Buds Before Studs. But we're seeing contemporary cartoons being made by people who were very much influenced by 90s anime.
Yes.
And the anime that got over to the West and was very popular in the West, namely the magical girl stuff, which was of course spearheaded by Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And Bee and Puppy Cat also filters into that
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. And even Miraculous Ladybug, too, is definitely coasting off of that vibe as well.
Although I feel like since that's foreign, I feel like that's like European, right? Because they've always been doing magic.
Remember how it's
It's a
That's always been
French,
doing
it's a French-Korean collaboration, as far as I understand. But still, the Europeans also have their own...
Oh yeah, they've
history of
been into
magical
anime
girls.
since into anime since the 80s. They've been on this kick way longer than America has.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's really random vague super robot anime that are like specifically really big in like really specific like Spanish speaking countries. Some like in places it's always weird. Like freaking UFO Grendizer, which is like the third show in the Mazinger Z franchise that like nobody really cares about. Like I forget what country it's in. I think just like Spain or something, but it's like super big specifically there. It's the European anime market's really interesting to me. Mm-hmm. Just because we always assume, because like Americans we always assume that we're at the forefront of everything because we're terrible. But yeah, but Sailor Moon is definitely the big influence here.
Definitely.
And with Star.
I mean, like, as soon as you see her wand, you're like, okay, I know what this is. I know exactly what this is.
It's like Sailor Moon by way of freaking I just heard the name before. What the lady who does all the colorful artwork in the 90s that like Mabel had
Lisa
that fantasy
Frank?
about. Lisa Frank. Yeah, it's like Sailor Moon by way of Lisa Frank.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. That's super, super astute. Nefsi also was influenced by Magic Knight, Ray Earth, Utena, Unico, and
Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy, and also DBZ is in there. Nefsi has posted on her Tumblr old comics she did because she was pitching the show when she was in college. She's a Cal Arts alum, right?
I believe
Probably.
so.
Yeah. And Star has evolved a lot since its initial incarnation, in which she was the titular character was a regular ass human girl who was obsessed with magical girl stories and was convinced that she was one but wasn't.
Yeah.
I remember seeing.
Which is its own great thing, but I'm not sure how many legs that would have.
No,
I think this is the better show, but man, those comics are fascinating. They're really good in their own right.
Yeah, like originally, like we said, Star was just going to be a girl who wanted to be a magical girl like Sailor Moon. And Marco was a guy who was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z and karate, and they were originally going to be enemies and not friends.
Oh no.
And she didn't have any magical powers. Everything happened by her determination and her ridiculousness. And Nefsi began pitching the show when she was only a junior in college, when Cartoon Network was, like, soliciting a bunch of pilot shows. Star was going to be much younger. She was going to be in the 4th grade, which was when Nefsi herself was still obsessed with Sailor Moon. But when she proposed it to Disney, they upped her to high school, made her a little bit older. And then, apparently it was an executive that was the person who suggested that Star actually have magic powers. And then Nefsi was like, yes.
I hadn't even considered that it could be real, but this is the realm of imagination.
So this was a concept that had been, boiling around in her head for 6 years. That's, finally come to fruition.
And she also said here, something that's very interesting and makes a lot of sense, because I never thought about it. It's like, with regards to a need for more strong female characters, Nefsi said that she looked at TV over the years and had to go to Japan when she was younger to find the cartoons that had the characters that she wanted to see. It was always a question of, well, why isn't that on TV in the U.S.? Actually look to the 90s, and there were absolutely no female action heroes.
Nope.
That stuff was Japanese exclusive at the time.
In cartoons. I mean, Buffy was...
In cartoons, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. But...
Yeah, but she wouldn't have been watching Buffy at the time, I don't think. I don't know how old she is.
She said she liked it. I don't know.
Well, she may have come back to it.
Yeah.
It may have been something that she watched when she was older. I don't know if she's watching it as it was airing.
Buffy got, like, 6 or 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So... That really explains why that stuff was so resonant among so many people of so many walks of life. Ladies, young women growing up in the 90s, because it's like this is, if you wanted to see a lady kick a man in the face and like be an action hero, that was the only place.
Yeah.
Was this kind of cheesy, low budget but very earnest anime.
Yeah, because we were coming off of the 80s where cartoons were very, gender segregated, girls cartoons, boys cartoons. In the 90s, their solution was to just make all ages cartoons, which really just meant mostly male characters and maybe a token female character, where they made it appeal to boys primarily, and if girls liked it too, that was cool. But that wasn't their primary target.
Yeah. And there were exceptions like Thornberrys and maybe something else. That's the only one I can think of off the dome that was, like, female. And, like, later PPG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was late 90s. If we're talking about mid-90s or early 90s, yeah, it was anime. That's what you had.
Mm-hmm. Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor and...
I mean, really, you just had Sailor Moon because the rest of them came after Sailor Moon, and we're just trying to ride her coattails. And like, as rough as that first dub was, I feel like all the other dubs of later Magical Girl stuff were kind of worse. Well, like what? Oh, you got fucking all the Saturday morning classics like Tokyo Mew Mew. You had Magical Do-Re-Mi.
Oh,
the non-awful dub of that is actually pretty fun.
Magical Do-Re-Mi is really fun.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure it is. I was just retching at the name.
No. Yeah,
they're all. That's the whole point, is that they have retch-worthy, sugar-sweet names.
Oh, and yeah, these shows are just the, and then they and then obviously Card Captors they just made a totally different show.
Yeah.
Although that opening is still pretty dope.
Card Captors? I didn't get to watch a lot of Card Captor. I think I watched one episode as a kid. I managed to catch it and I liked it. I just forgot where I found it and didn't know how to find it again.
I mean, I know they aired it on Kids WB.
Yeah, it was a WB joint.
Yeah, that's probably why, because they only aired cartoons on Saturdays in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we were tuning in for Pohemon, but
yeah.
Actually, we may have been watching that in syndication on, like...
No, we tuned
Man,
into
remember
Pokemon
UPN?
after school.
Yeah, on UPN.
Remember when Cartoon Network had Pokemon for the very first time and how crazy that was?
That was pretty crazy.
Like when they first announced it, like, oh, Cartoon Network's gonna have Pokemon, and you were like, that's the wrong channel, though. How can they do that? They're gonna get arrested by the police.
They had Sailor Moon, too, eventually, right?
I think. It might have been one of those things that came on at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
No, that was UPN. Like, UPN aired Sailor Moon, too, but like, I accidentally woke up too early one day, and I was like, is this Sailor Moon? What?
So
And then, like,
sparkly.
you were really groggy, so you're not sure if you saw a titty or not.
It's so glittery.
Oh no, oh yeah, her transformation. Because I was gonna say like anytime they had a bath scene, you can just tell they just added like 60% more bubbles to that bath.
Oh, yeah, totally.
She was just being eaten by bubbles.
That might have been a monster.
And they colored the water, like, weird, unnatural colors.
Yeah, they colored the water. Oh, maybe she was rocking bath bombs. She was the start of that. She started that trend.
Oh.
Another thing big in the middle of the 2010s, also pioneered by Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
man.
So Star.
Yeah, so Star itself, it's a storyboard-driven show. It's produced by Mercury Filmworks in Ottawa, Canada. The animation is done there, pre-production in the U.S. So it's the same studio that does The Wanderer and Mickey Mouse, which does amazing work, as we all know. And this show is spectacularly animated. It's so... the lip syncing is mesmerizing. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself just, like, staring at their rounded teeth.
Yeah, they got like each individual tooth is like half an inch apart from each other. Sometimes it's great.
I like bad teeth in cartoons and animation.
Oh, they're the best.
They're so cute.
Like that.
Yeah, this
Like, to me, the art in the webcomic Overcompensating became so much better when he's just like made an. After a certain point, he's like, okay, all the characters in my comic have horrible teeth, and the art got so much better.
So the show itself is about the main character, Star Butterfly, who's a magical princess from an alternate dimension called Mewnie.
Possibly
spelled Mew,
inspired by
like a cat.
Princess Mew Mew or whatever.
Mew
Was it
Mew,
Mew
Tokyo
Mew
Mew
Boys?
Mew.
Tokyo Mew Mew
Tokyo Mew
time.
Mew Mew.
I would also watch an anime called Mew Mew Boys if it existed.
I would so watch... There needs to be a Mew Mew Boys. Okay.
I think that was the working title of that game, Hustle Cat.
Oh, what?
I was hoping that would go over better. It's fine.
Okay. So the plot is that on her 14th birthday, when she, I guess, becomes, I don't know, special grown-up princess, Sailor Moon was 14? I want to say she was only 14.
Yeah.
So she receives her family heirloom, which is this magic wand that, casts any kind of spells, whatever the person wants, and it takes the form of whatever that person wants it to be, like whatever in their heart. So, like, her mom...
Yeah, I like that about that wand. Like, it changes depending on who's holding it, it changes.
Yeah, like, her mom's is kind of, like, prissy and, like, kind of, like, proper, and, Stars is, like, this little drum.
It's a big, chunky toy that runs on 3 AA batteries.
But Star is not a proper princess. She likes to go on adventures and beat up monsters and be crazy and have fun and be silly. And her mom is like, you have to be the queen one day. You gotta get your shit together and you're setting everything on fire. So they decide to send her to Earth to sort of learn how to be less cray, I guess, and to calm down, learn some stuff in a world that's not populated with magic. And she becomes a foreign exchange student. And she ends up living with the Diaz family. I don't remember... Oh, yeah. Her parents enroll her in the school, and then she meets Marco at school, and then...
Yeah, Marco becomes like her, like the principal gives her to Marco. It's like, hey, you're the safest, nicest, like boringest boy in the whole school, so you get to watch after this girl. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm a dangerous, tough guy. holy shit, watch out for that loose tile. I love Marco. And then
Marco's a real weenus. He's great.
Yeah, and then she gets assigned to his parents to like live, and they're ecstatic about it because they're ecstatic about fucking everything. I love Marco's family.
I love his parents so much.
They're also weenuses.
So Marco teaches Star about Earth stuff, and Star teaches Marco about not Earth stuff, and they go on adventures and have fun and try to protect Star's wand from our main villain, Ludo, who is this hilarious, inept
chicken
Power Rangers villain guy who is just trying to steal the wand so he can attain its power. And the other reoccurring thing is these dimensional scissors, which you can use to cut to go into any dimension. So, like, Star doesn't just go to Mewnie. She goes to, like, all kinds of crazy places to party and have fun and do stupid stuff, which is her favorite thing to do. So that's the plot.
Yeah, and at first it really just seems like a nice I loved it. I loved it from the jump too, but like the last third of the season really ramps up like a lot of world building and plot stuff that I just assumed the show wasn't gonna do.
Yeah.
Like we start to learn more about the actual conflict between the Mewnie humans and the monsters, and it turns out that like they just jacked their land from them.
The munitions.
Yeah, the munitions.
Yeah.
The minutians, or is that from? That's from something.
That's
Gulliver.
what you call.
Wasn't that Gulliver's Travels?
The
That was
Lilliputians.
Lilliputians.
Oh, Lilliputians.
Munitions is
the
like
pun
ammo.
in,
No, I meant I'm like minutians. I know minutians are something.
the Lilliputians, and it was like hence the Gravity Falls pun with the golf people, the Little Pututians or whatever they were called.
God.
Lilliputians is the civilization of that dog Pokemon from Gen 6.
Wow.
5? It was 5. Oh, I can't believe I fucked that up.
Wow.
I mean, we say this about, like, every fucking show now. It's like, oh, this is just gonna be, like, a fun, happy, episodic... No. It never is.
Well, it does take its time.
Oh yeah, no.
It does take
it
its time.
definitely
Like, we're
breathes
gonna
a lot.
talk about Wander and our recaps, and, like, yeah, Wander took its time, too. Wander took a whole season to not do any plot stuff, and then it's like, hey... Well, McCracken said, he's like, hey, can I do some plot stuff? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, Craigie. Like, Steven, we said the same thing. There's still a couple of shows where I'm like, it's not going to happen in We Babos, and it's not going to happen in Clarence, because that would be fucking crazy. That'd be unthinkable.
The closest We Bears got was that backstory episode.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, no, you're right. There's a... you're
baby
fucking
bear.
right. There's a series... There's a series of them as homeless children.
Well,
That's something.
it's still not to the degree of like Gravity or Steven or even
it's not the point.
Adventure Time. And most people, I think, would want shows to start a little sooner getting into that stuff. Like, I think some people were very excited about Star and sort of wanted it to start with that plot stuff, but it's like, no, we're just gonna like chill for a little bit and have some fun first and like get our bearings and learn how to work with each other and learn how to play these characters off with one another before we like go crazy.
And that really, I'm sure it helped that like just showing the teaser guaranteed them a second season for some fucking breathing room.
Yeah. Again with the two things with that. One, I'm gonna start calling that cycle like Last Airbender, whatever, because Airbender was the same way. Like, it set itself up to do a lot of plot stuff, and then kind of did. The first season is almost entirely world building, bookended with plot stuff.
Yeah,
And character development.
Yeah, character development and world building, which like really type A anally retentive anime fans dismiss as filler. Any kind of characterization.
Yeah.
Again, Wander did that. And also, to tie it into Wander, in response to this newest episode, Craig McCracken made a post about the idea of serialized comedy cartoons and how networks do not want to do that. So I have a feeling that part of getting that kind of show made is that you gotta trick them.
You really do. I mean, Adventure Time didn't happen in a season. It took multiple seasons for them.
It was season 3 when they even started doing that, and
really,
it didn't really hit the ground until, I guess the Flame Princess stuff in season 4, but I'm gonna say season 5 is when they solidly started doing that a lot.
And even Craig learned that, I think, from Powerpuff Girls, because I mean, obviously Powerpuff Girls never got to this degree, but I remember him saying, like, the early seasons were a little stifling because, like, they always needed to be the Powerpuff Girls go out, stop a monster, and save the day because that's what was pitched to executives, so that's what they wanted. And it took him a couple seasons of, like, showing them that, like, no, this show works and we know what we're doing, for him to be allowed to do stuff like the Rainy Day episode and Meet the Beat-Alls and, like, the stuff that played on, like, the normal formula.
And like, even Steven took a while to get going. Because I know, like, a lot of people said Steven didn't really do it for them until the mid-season finale with Lapis. And that was a significant chunk of episodes that were pretty, by the book, sort of like adventure a week sort of stories, and were certainly presented that way, though we do know now that there was plot going on, but it wasn't really the focal point, and that's how they were able to do it.
I really feel like Steven's just a whole nother animal. Like,
but still, they still had to play the game for the sake of the networks.
Yeah, I think Steven was fucking A1 bait and switch, because they were putting plot stuff in there just very subtly for you to appreciate your second go time through. Because before Lapis, it really seemed like before Steven Bomb. I mean, I forget a lot of, the order of episodes. Like, Steven Bomb, by that point, there was no coming back. But yeah, the stuff with Lapis was a lot of that stuff. Yeah, the first, 20 episodes or so. You listen back to our first episode on that, which was really our first episode. Yeah, there was 12 episodes out at the time. Like, the newest one was the one with the beach party with the pizza family. That was the most recent episode when we recorded that. We were still in the bait portion of the bait and switch.
Yep. Yeah. I don't even think we knew what the gem monsters were at that point.
No, they were just monster men.
Yeah.
God.
They were just Power Rangers monsters for them to fight.
And even Gravity Falls, yes, there was this established, there are mysteries. But the first couple episodes were really just here's a cool new monster or fantasy creature, let's do an episode about it. It took a while.
It was mystery of the week.
Yeah.
Even the whole, pitching a show to executives aside, because obviously Gravity Falls was probably the one that was more planned from the start. You want to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You need to establish a character and setting for your audience to give a shit about and feel connected to before you start, with all the other bullshit. Because otherwise they're not going to care about all the bullshit. Because they have no idea who these people or places are you're showing them for them to care about.
Exactly. So,
people forget that.
We just wanted to establish that, it's not slow, and it's not this is nothing like these other shows that I love. It's no, I mean, it's a pattern that these shows follow, and it's important time in the development of a story.
Every show has its own pacing in terms of that stuff, but yeah, it's all there.
So, we start off learning a little bit more about what Star can do. She's learning about what she can do. We're learning a little bit about their backstories, what Marco's about. Mostly he's a weenie who's crushes on the coolest girl, who's very nice to him. And he's not...
He's a weenie with incredibly good taste.
He's a weenie, but he's not he's not like a fuckboy. He's just a weenie.
No.
He's a really cool, nice guy.
I like that he crushes on the coolest girl in school, but he gives no attention to the second coolest girl in school.
His friend?
The one in the hat who likes him, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name? Jaina? Something like that?
Yeah,
she's super cool.
I'm still absorbing all those background students. His two nerdy friends have gotten some features.
The chubby boy and Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Matt Chapman, that's the same voice he does for Double.
Yeah.
I think that's just like, that guy looks like he could be Double's skinnier, better shaped brother.
Like the skinnier, taller, the senior cart gauge of Double.
Of Double's strong bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, even though, you know, Star is a magical girl, she's not really, like, a superhero. Like, she's not, like, going out and saving the day and fighting villains,
Yeah,
really.
no.
Like,
If monsters weren't constantly attacking her unprovoked, she would just be having a good time.
yeah, like, Nefsi said she sort of wanted to balance comedy and, like, sort of the drama, because, you know, they are teenagers, they have their emotions, they're going through a lot of changes and growing up and whatever. But it's still being very fun about it. It's not very, like, dark and dour yet. It's very just, like, Star has hilarious crushes. Like, what was that ridiculous man who would play, what was it, the piano in the parking lot?
Was it like a keytar?
Keytar? Yeah.
It was Oscar Greason.
Oh yeah, Oscar. With a K, I think.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Was it a keytar, or was it that keyboard thing you have to blow into that sucks?
No, I think it was a key, because he was like singing really shitty songs while he was playing it sometimes about how much he hates his mom's boyfriend.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I don't know what it is, but like guys who like complain about their mom's boyfriend is like one of my favorite jokes.
Just kids, like older kids who hate their stepdad.
Like, the idea that it's not even a stepdad, like, I don't know Chad very well, Tooch, but he's very hilarious to me just because he exists and his name actually is Chad.
Yeah. No, he's a cool guy, though.
Yeah, that's good.
Man, but I like how all the kids, like, this show, like, it's so clearly like a cartoon, and it goes by a lot of cartoon logic, because there's all this interdimensional bullshit going on, but like all the Earthling people are just like, well, I've never seen this before, but it's really cool. It's like interdimensional magic and sci-fi bullshit fantasy to them is the equivalent of, like, I don't know, the first time you saw like a VR headset.
I don't know. They're
like, ah, shit, huh? This is weird. I don't get it. It's kind of dumb sometimes, but it's neat.
I don't know. They're a bunch of Cali kids. They're already living in a different world. Like, they're way more receptive to this kind of stuff and like way more unplussed by it.
Oh, you think that's cool? I gotta show you this fucking food truck a block from here.
Star is voiced by Eden Scher. This is her very first voice acting role, which is pretty impressive.
She's amazing.
Amazing role as Star. And she says that she identifies with her a lot and describes her as, she's always wrong, she's always messing up, but at the same time, this character has such a good heart. Star is fiercely loyal when it comes to her friends and never backs down from a fight. There's so much going on there. It's really what makes this character so fun to voice. And she is wrong all the time.
She's never right.
Never right. Not even about stuff she's supposed to know about.
Apparently her best known role is in the ABC sitcom The Middle, and I only want to bring that up because her character's name is Sue Heck.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Sue Heck!
What the crap?
You know, and Marco is sort of the straight man to Star's crazy. She balances her out a little bit. He's a little more thoughtful and clever.
They balance each other well in almost a Dipper Mabel-ish way.
Almost.
Like, I don't want to make that direct comparison because they're different characters, but it's more like, you know, one's like the more brainier, like, weenie boy who thinks he's cooler than he is or wants to be cooler than he is, and
one of them thinks with their brain, one of them thinks with their heart.
yes,
Yeah.
with her hearts that are on her face.
Yes. And I think one of the things that really struck me about Marco and like how he's presented when I watched the very first episode, because the very first episode premiered on Disney Channel, it was sort of like a promotion. It was a few months before the series premiered proper, and I remember having a viewing party with a lot of my friends. I was like, everybody, we have to watch this show. It's going to be so great. And it stood out to all of us. Like, we all liked the fact that Marco knew how to fight. Like, it was very surprising when it was first introduced. I was like, oh, he can fight too. That's great. Like, he's not
it was still a little surprising because the martial art he's trained in is karate, and it's just like, oh, you can actually fight people with that. I'm amazed.
The Dane Cook of martial arts.
Well, like, you would think that, like, oh, he's going to be this weenie boy and she's going to be rescuing him all the time. Like, no, they're, like, partners. Like, they can take care of each other. No,
he's not Ron Stoppable.
No, he's not Ron Stoppable. He's actually, like, a capable person, which is fun. Because I don't, like...
Do you guys know his middle name?
He's that karate boy.
Marco's middle name?
Yeah.
No. I don't...
Ubaldo.
What?
Ubaldo.
Ubaldo?
Ubaldo. Marco Ubaldo Diaz.
Is that a name?
It's probably very,
it is a name.
very...
It's a name. It's a real name that people have. There's a baseball pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles named Ubaldo Jimenez.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. He made $11 million in 2014. Fuck, I forgot how fucked up sports are. He's 6'6", though. And if you're that tall, you get a lot of money. And I like the Orioles.
I like the Orioles, and he's like a Dominican player, and like, good for him. It's a poor country.
I'm looking at his Wikipedia article right now.
And that's been the Sports Minute on Toon Goons.
The Marcos ethnicity is something that, like, I remember having some friends who were, like, a little, like, put off by it, because at the one hand we were excited, like, oh, okay, cool, a Latino character in a show, that's awesome. But it is laid on a little thick, like, with the cactuses surrounding his house and the nachos.
What I choose to think that is just that his parents are extremely darky.
Yeah.
And that they're just leaning into it. Because, like,
I mean, I think it's his dad, really.
Yeah, his dad is the Hispanic. His mom, it's unclear. I don't think she is, because his dad has an accent and is adorable and the best. And his mom's...
And all we know about his mom is she has fantastic taste in men.
Yes.
Whenever they're not on screen, I just assume they're doing it.
Well, there's only one
like they're
kid.
they're always about to start foreplay when we see them.
Oh,
yeah, they're really into each other, which is great for them.
They are introduced by, like, them sitting on the couch, and his mother is just gripping his chest hair. Just getting fistfuls and loving it.
And they're also really into, like, housing exchange students. Like, Star isn't the first kid they've had live with them. Like, they have, like, this whole collection of, like, they're really wacky people.
I love them.
Like, they're definitely, I would put them more in sort of, like, the Timmy's mom and dad category, as opposed to, like, the more realistic parents that we've been seeing cropping up. Because they're just goofy, fun people.
Yeah.
Like, they're not really characters so much. They're just, like, these crazy people that live with them and are lovely.
They're not characters. They're a couple
neighbor.
of characters.
They're the wacky neighbor who also lives in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that, like, the main parents we see are what would be wacky neighbors, that because the show's constructed that they're not expected to carry any plots, because fucking hell they can't.
It's like, who wants churros?
And
like...
it's great because, like, you kind of have to make them that way, because normal parents wouldn't agree to house Star.
No, and, like, Star does
You've destroyed our home on a daily basis.
And they're just like, ooh, I've always wanted to pool. Like,
and it's like here's like 8 tiny puppies who fire lasers from their eyes, and they love it.
And they're consistent. Like, those puppies never went away.
Yeah, Marco walks them.
They're just there.
They're just like, well, we own dogs now.
Laser spewing puppies.
I like when one of them talked for no reason. Also, I'm a puppy that shoots laser beams out of his eye.
And like we were talking about with Kim Possible, the show also doesn't bother with the secret identity thing, which was genre standard for magical girl stuff. And I don't know of any, like, proper Japanese magical stuff that did subvert that. I mean, I'm not super literate on the genre.
Yeah,
I haven't
either.
Honestly, I haven't heard of any.
Yeah, because it's such a strong genre convention like the secret identity of a superhero.
Utena didn't have an
Western
identity
media.
of any kind. She was just Utena.
Yeah. I guess not. Not in Utena.
She would just be like, hey, I'm about to hold up. I gotta go sword fight this motherfucker. Math class can wait.
Yeah, nobody really knew that she was doing that, but that whole show's narrative was so dreamlike. It's like the whole show felt unreal, like a weird dream. So, like, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't. The whole thing was that nobody gave a shit about anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is more like Kim Possible in that they just really do not care what Star is doing, unless it benefits them.
Yeah, like, and that was a conscious decision by Nefsi. She was just like, nah, just let them, no, I don't want to do that. That's boring and lame.
It honestly would be out of character for Star to hide it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not a superhero. What would she hide? She's just herself. Her magnificent, ridiculous, impossible self.
It really leads to a lot more opportunity for, like, a lot of adventures and good dialogue and character moments, because it's like, in all those shows before where you would have to hide a character with a supernatural power, because that was, like, 90% of the fucking shows like that growing up, I remember. The plots were constantly, oh no, this thing happened, and the entire plot A is now keeping everybody from figuring out this thing happened, and it's like, you don't actually get a chance to explore it that much, because the whole point is to hide it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Star's like, oh fuck, I turned a teacher into a troll. She's a troll now. Let's deal with that.
Oh yeah, she stays a troll the whole time, and then she, like, learns about her troll heritage. Like, that was a great episode.
Yeah. But, like, you know, I liked Batman Beyond. I like the first 3 seasons of Batman Beyond. But, like, the thing is that because Batman Beyond was stuck with that whole, you know, constant subplot of having to hide it, by the 4th season, it was just, by that point, just beyond the suspension of disbelief that anybody would have anything to do with Terry after all the times he kept fucking up.
Yeah, especially his girlfriend.
His girlfriend, I just could not believe on any level that his girlfriend wouldn't have left him.
He told his friend.
Max?
Eventually, yeah, Max found. I remember, I think the last season Max knew.
Yeah, because she basically figured it out, because she did, like,
because she's not an idiot.
No.
Unlike, I guess, his girlfriend. Is what Touche is saying.
Hey, I meant every high schooler.
They really didn't know what to do with that poor girl.
Oh, yeah, she was such an obligatory character. We'll talk about that some months from now when we do Batman Beyond, because it's still a good show.
Woo!
Yeah, so I'm really glad that this and a bunch of other shows just don't bother with that anymore. I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm. It's not interesting.
Get rid of it. Throw it out. You don't need it anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, and I really hope Big Hero 6 doesn't bother with that at all.
I kind of doubt it, because, like,
I don't know. It still might.
I don't know.
It's not impossible.
I feel like it's less like they have to keep a secret identity, and it's more like I doubt it'll come up that much, because it's like those are too, like, no one will suspect them. They're too busy working on finals.
What I think might be kind of cool in BH6 is, like, everybody knows except Aunt Cass.
That's perfect.
Yeah, there's ways to play with it. But, you know, if you work with the Batman rules of, like, nobody can know, then whatever.
Yeah.
And also
Nobody
Spider-Man
can know
too.
what I'm doing for my city.
Anywho.
Mary Jane should have left Spider-Man, like... Well, she never should have hooked up with Spider-Man, because, like, man, you could do so much better, girl. Whatever. I mean, that was even her first line. It's like, you cannot touch this.
Yeah, like, you hit the jackpot, Tiger.
You hit the jackpot, you do not deserve any of it. Star versus the Forces of Evil. But, you know, like we were saying, it does build up some plot stuff, and, like, the finale, which we talked about in recaps after it happened, like, that was some shit. That was like insane. A lot of stuff all at once, and was deliberately obtuse. We weren't supposed to know the fullness of that.
And they were building up to it. Like, Toffee was introduced, like...
Toffee was the start of it. Toffee, like, when Toffee was introduced, it was sort of like, well, okay, things are different now.
Yeah, things are
and
a
I
bit
loved it.
Voiced
by Michael C. Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't just the fact that Toffee showed up, but it's the fact that he didn't go away after one episode, and he became a recurring character. It's like, okay, this is clearly something.
Yeah, because, like, Ludo couldn't continue to sustain the show alone as a villain. As entertaining and delightful as he is, like, the show needed something to push it and continue it along, to continue to create conflict. And that's really what
It's like the same way that Adventure Time couldn't keep doing Ice King plot, like straight up no subversion Ice King plots.
And how Wander couldn't keep doing Lord Hater stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, show creators are like, they're much more cognizant of of these conventions that really do run shows into the ground and just not dealing with it. Yeah, so Toffee is a much better villain because he's actually capable and interesting. The inherently incompetent villain just can't really carry a show, especially with, I think, the higher standard of writing that just exists in these kind of shows nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily to knock older shows that did have, like, keep coming back to Powerpuff Girls, like, well, like, you know what it was is that Mojo Jojo wasn't the only guy.
Yeah, they had a whole rogues gallery.
Yeah. The fact that they did have a huge gallery of great villains meant that they could cycle them out and still have, and do a lot of stuff with the villain because it didn't have to all rest on the shoulders of one character. That's what was happening with Ludo. That's what was happening with Ice King. If you do go into it with a rogues gallery mentality, you can avoid that. But this show wasn't doing that. It was never its intention. Mm-hmm. So it did need to naturally evolve a far more sinister villain.
Yeah. Because it's like everything else, like we got like, the St. Olga's lady, she will probably show up again. Her at the ending of that episode is pretty ominous. And then like
well, it implied that she was also
Tom's not a villain.
Who?
Her ex-boyfriend, the demon Tom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That actual fuckboy.
Yeah, he's also actually a demon. Like that was what was that episode? The Blood Ball?
Blood Moon Ball.
The Blood Moon Ball, which is a great episode.
It was really great, and it introduced the concept because I thought that they were just going to keep Star and Marco platonic friends. That episode did sort of introduce the concept that it's possible it could be something more. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but I guess we'll just have to see. His costume, his outfit was awesome. He looked super rad. And so did she. All her clothes are adorable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I love her shoes. I love the fact that she's like this. She's clearly got like a very largely like Japanese style, like anime style hero aesthetic, but she's got a couple of demonic imagery on there, like the headband and the shoes.
She dresses like how like a tiny kid, like a grade schooler would want to dress when they were grown up. Because like, you can wear whatever you want when you're a grown up. It's like, oh well, I'm gonna wear all this bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have cool boots. I'm gonna have a tiara with cool horns on it, and I'm gonna paint hearts on my cheeks. It'll be great.
Well, I think those are just part of her face.
Oh yeah, no, like those are part of her face, but I just mean like, yeah, like just her whole aesthetic is like really childish, but in a good way.
It's like cute and scary, like cute scary. Yeah. I guess you would say, like monsters and princesses.
Yeah, like
because she's terrifying
scary.
Sometimes.
Like the kind of jewelry that I see on Etsy, I'm like, oh, I could do that. Overall, the show's got a really solid aesthetic and wonderfully animated. It's a great looking show.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's lovely to look at. Again, like I said, I'm mesmerized when I watch it.
The humor's really great. Like the humor runs the gambit anywhere from like a classic scripted like setup punchline joke or some visual gags, but then like every now and again it'll just be really just funny. I don't know a word for it, but just like, do you guys remember that gag? Like it was from the St. O's episode with those feet kicking under her rug.
Yes!
And it's just like
that joke is it's still insane. That joke is so twisted. It's amazing. It's an amazing, truly hilarious joke. But it's like it has only the minimal necessary amount of congruity with the rest of the show's tone.
It really throws you for a loop.
Yeah, it's like it's not. It's so unexpected in so many ways. Like obviously, like and for a joke to work, it has to be unexpected. But you don't expect this show to make that joke. It only barely fits in this show.
And then like another good one,
That
which
joke is twisted.
Another good one, like it's a little more congruous with the show, but it was at the end of the one where she's obsessed with finding this TV, as seen on TV product at the store.
Oh yes,
And
the
she goes on that
banana
whole
thing.
odyssey by herself. And at the end of the episode, like they all get that whatever ice cream or whatever, and Marco's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I doubted you." He's like, "You doubted me?" Yeah, and she just like smacks it out of his hand without saying anything. And I'm why would you? There was a fly on it. And then she just backs away, and then the episode's over.
She definitely has a very modern sense of humor. Like the show
I
is
love
very like it's. I don't want to call it zeitgeisty, but it's very in tune with like the kind of humor of this generation.
It's witty.
Yeah.
Like anytime Toffee reacts to Ludo is hilarious because it's always just silence and he just moves on. He's just not having Ludo's bullshit at all. God, that is the epitome of somebody who knows they're smarter than their boss.
It's kind of grating almost. Like you're kind of like, but like it's perfect.
Toffee's great.
Toffee is great, and I mean, obviously we're gonna see more of him.
I hope so.
Yeah.
How could we not?
He kind of exploded, but also he can grow back.
Yeah.
Except for that finger. Like that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I want to know about that finger.
He's got that missing Yakuza finger. He can regenerate, but that doesn't come back.
No. I mean, I think he doesn't regenerate it on purpose. So he doesn't forget whatever wrong it represents.
Either that or the process in which it was removed is,
magical.
Doesn't allow him to regenerate. But yeah, that's also a thing. I actually hadn't considered that until just now as you were saying it. But yeah, that's also a possibility that it's deliberate.
Because
that seems like something
has
he'd do.
like a huge beef.
He's got a vendetta
with the royal family of Mewnie.
Like, I mean, they all do, but I guess I feel like he's the only one that's actually like doing anything that'll actually be worth it. Like he's actually trying to, like they're all just taking revenge out on the Munies. But he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking do something about this once and for all.
Yeah, he's like, I need to destroy these people. Like they're a menace, which we learn unsettlingly is they just like to kill monsters for funsies without recognizing that they're sentient people with their own
Munipendence Day was the episode.
Yeah.
That was like the real episode that was like, oh, this show's gonna explore some things like colonialism. That's it, really. Like that's enough. Just enough to tackle, really.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah.
I never thought, because like I mean like it's like it's a simple enough concept to wrap your head around, but then when you really think about it, that's kind of the heaviest thing for a children's show to tackle, because it's it's indirectly responsible for almost all the world's problems.
Yeah,
more or less.
Yeah, because it adds a degree of moral ambiguity in a structure like a genre structure and genre convention in which it's usually pretty black and white. Like, Ludo and his crew are basically Power Rangers villains, and that's like as black and white as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And also all the other colors, I guess, too.
Whereas Toffee's been like, it's clear he's been like wronged, like profoundly so. And it's also clear that like Star is like completely oblivious to the suffering of these monster people. Like,
because she comes from such a position of privilege.
Yes.
She comes from the biggest, giantest, tallest castle in a world of like peasant serfs.
Yeah. Like,
She really could not be more bougie. I mean, she's fucking studying abroad.
Yeah, she's not even like dealing with her own country right now. And I guess the other like big threat that was sort of, mentioned from the beginning was, St. O's School for Wayward Princesses. And St. O's! And then we actually get to go there and see what it's all about. And it's sort of what you imagine. It's this like individuality, like sucking, like regimented education place of doom.
Yeah, which is something we've seen in a lot of other places, but it also works as a metaphor for the way women are treated in our society. It's good stuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not untreaded ground, but it was well done, and, like, to see Ponyhead, like, not being Ponyhead, it was like, oh, jeez.
What it really was is to see Jenny Slate not being a Jenny Slate character.
Yeah.
I love her horrible voice so much.
Or when Marco...
Her voice is truly awful, and I love it.
And I love Marco made such a pretty princess, but then he was, like, in the princess, like, re-education chamber or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh. And
yeah, he had such a dope ponytail.
He was so cute. I loved him.
And like, of course, in the spirit of, you know, the good-naturedness and the general moving beyond, like, slowly moving beyond gender bullshit that we're seeing in a lot of cartoons, the idea that he has to dress as a princess, and like, oh man, now I have to dress like a girl. It's like, okay,
he was
this is what I gotta do.
He was
This
loving
is hey, not wearing pants, wearing like a dress or a skirt. Oh, it's so good. This is amazing. You can just do this whenever. Holy shit.
And then we learn that Saint O is also sort of like a suppressed princess. So she's got some stuff going on that we might see more of later. We don't know if she's a result of something larger or what. But it's odd that there's like this interdimensional like crisis of wayward princesses.
Yeah, like, I don't know if we're gonna get into that because that's kind of gonna ruin the joke. But yeah, there is an economical need. There is a market that will support a seemingly pretty expensive boarding school for, you know, it's like, you know, we have rehab centers because we've got these problems, but we don't have a problem of princess. There aren't that many princesses.
Well, it's just that, like, they're all, like, too interested in having fun and not whatever they're supposed to do. I don't...
Yeah, but this is a multiverse, which is apparently pretty princess heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very princess heavy.
Yeah, it really made me wonder, like, because obviously if this show's gonna go so far as to explore the concept of, like, you know, other people coming in and taking, is it a pervasive singular culture throughout dimensions?
It almost seems like it. Like, it seems like people just travel throughout dimensions all the time.
Yeah, and it's specific. It's specifically Dimensional Scissors, so that's a brand that they all shop at Quest Buy, which is great.
Yes.
Those sloth jerks.
Yeah. So
but, I mean, to be fair, it's not his department. He doesn't know. If you work retail, it's like, you don't know other departments. They don't teach you this shit.
No. And especially
Leave me alone. I don't know anything about the meat customers. I don't know what a fillet even is.
I'm just a deli man. I'll give you a slice of...
He's just a deli man doing everything he deli can.
I'm just a deli man with a deli man's courage.
Which is a lot. That slicer could fuck you up.
It fucked me up once.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Dope. Guys. There's 420 pages on the Star vs. Force of Evil wiki. What would be the multiverse term for globalism? Because that's, I think, an undercurrent.
Universalism?
Intentional or not.
Universalism? Is that already a thing, though? Probably is.
I don't know, maybe. But yeah, it's the concept of globalism seems to be in this cute-ass multiverse that this show has. I don't know if that's something they're gonna address, but it's definitely an undercurrent, intentional or not.
Yeah.
Universalism is a thing. It's. I'm not gonna read about it, but yeah.
But yeah, like, next season, I'm trying to, like, wrap my brain around everything that happens. So, the wand
exploded. The unicorn, like, she cast a spell and the unicorn inside it died.
Yeah, like, Toffee told her to, like, he blackmailed her to like deactivate her wand forever or something.
Yeah,
and then
it was the first
using
spell.
the first spell. Yeah, that was
her mother ever taught her, and Toffee just knew that. That was a cold, creepy line, and I loved it.
Yeah, and so she did it, but then there was like
good work, Michael. Let's call him Michael Chawl. I
Michael Chawl?
hate that.
I like
Michael
it.
Chawl. It's
Michael
great,
Chawl?
but I bet he does not like that.
Absolutely not. We'll never meet.
Whatever.
We'll never
Like
meet him.
he cares what we say.
No.
He's Michael C. Goddamn Chawl.
Oh, but his middle name is still C. He still has
Still
that.
C.
his Michael C. Chawl.
I didn't listen. I started.
What about
talking...
okay? How about this, Michael C. Chawl? Just...
But there was like some kind of like backup wand reboot fairy thing.
I guess the horse, the unicorn ghost must have whispered like dog, this shit's about to blow.
But then the wand got separated into pieces.
Yeah,
so they got to go on a quest and get Tingle to decode the maps to the pieces.
Yeah,
and people are gonna say it's the worst part, but Nina and I are gonna say it's actually kind of the best part. Okay, I am saying that about Wind Waker. That's the best part of Wind Waker, and everybody hates it, including Aonuma. But no, it's great. It expands the world. Fuck off. It was better in the HD version, but still great.
Sniggity snap. But I really should have rewatched it because I'm like, shit. Like, didn't the wand turn not good? It was like corrupted. It doesn't have its heart or something.
Wasn't there a horse speaking Spanish?
It was speaking Italian.
Speaking Italian,
and because it was the new unicorn, it was the replacement unicorn that repowered it. He was talking about how this was always his destiny, that this would happen someday, and he would have to take up the mantle and power the wand again. It was a joke. It was played it was for yucks. It was a really good bit.
Yeah,
but it was hard to tell how yucky it was because the rest of it was so serious. It's what it was a moment of levity to help clear it up. But it's like, is this important? Is this also an important thing?
The wand only looks corrupted like that because it's half of the star in the emblem is missing, so the missing half is just it's half of a black star, but then it shows the other half of the star, so it's just incomplete. They have to go find it and
but it seemed to imply that it was dangerous as incomplete.
Well, yeah, obviously this thing is the magic equivalent of fucking nuclear powered, Jesus.
Yeah.
It just charred the earth where a castle used to be.
Yeah.
And that's just how you turn it off.
Oh boy.
Oh man, that just reminds me. I love Glossaric, the little sprite in the manual book.
Oh yeah, that pain in the ass.
He's hilarious.
That piece of shit motherfucker.
God.
Yeah, so I really expect this show to hit the ground running season 2. I think, it's still Disney XD, and they're seeing what's happening with Wander, and, how... I hope the ratings are good, because season 2 of Wander has been fucking amazing.
It's been
great.
Amazing from top to bottom.
Some of the best shit on TV right now. It's so goddamn good.
And
I hope
no one's been talking about it.
This show do the same stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to the Disney XD shows, when I go to watch them, because I use my cable login to watch them, and I have to scroll all the way to the bottom to get to Star and Wander, and I'm like, that's not a good sign.
Unless what it is that they're deliberately putting the most popular stuff at the bottom to get
Gravity
at least
Falls
eyeballs.
is towards the top.
Well, shit.
That's the thing. I have no idea. To be fair, the children's demographic and the us demographic are two completely not communicative ratings
Very
demographics.
yes.
So I have no idea how the target demo is taking Star and Wander. But over here in our age group, it's a fucking travesty because everybody basically wants Homestuck. Can we just admit that? Everybody just wants Homestuck.
Somebody actually called us out on that today when we were saying that
what
about
happened?
Harvey. Because we were sort of going on the same bit when we were talking about Harvey. Why aren't the people who like cartoons, who are also, talking more about these shows? And they said, you can't make... they're quoting us. You can't make ships or theories about shows like Clarence or Harvey so they don't get big fandoms. And then they say, first, you talk as if having a big fandom is a bad thing. Second, there are still plenty of people who like it, draw fan art of it, etc. Not as loudly as you said yourself. There's not as much to say about them besides, that episode was cute. I don't see the issue is what I guess I'm saying.
I mean, I guess it's not so much an issue.
I take issue with the last one because... just because there's not a constant story doesn't mean there isn't like thematic strength and importance and beauty to what's happening.
We talk about Harvey on an almost weekly basis, and we find new stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
but it's just like
the other stuff. Like, I'm sure there's a dedicated, group of fans who are just really super into it more than anything else in their lives, but. I guess it's a matter of volume. I
mean, it's not so much that I'm asking for a huge fandom for every show that I like. In fact, I would prefer not, but I at least, because fuck giant fandoms, I at least want, like, more acknowledgement. Like, I feel like everybody has a really one-track mind that they have a couple cartoons that they're like, oh, this is the great shit. I want every single show to be like this, and it's like... I feel like the quote unquote like the masses have this subconscious aversion to diversity in their media.
Yeah. And
it's like I hate that because diversity in media is the only thing that makes good media happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I feel like a lot of I know a lot of people like they have the like quote unquote kinds of stuff they like, and it's like I guess that's fair, but I just like good things. Like if something's good. I mean, barring some stuff that just doesn't tickle my fancy, but like I just like good shit, especially if it's different, something I've never fucking seen before. So it's like Gravity Falls was over, and that's great, and like I'm sure but it's like Gravity Falls was super different and neat and interesting. And
yeah, I do feel like everybody wants all the cartoons to be like Gravity Falls or Steven.
Or Latter Day Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think the Homestuck comparison is kind of brutal, but extremely accurate.
That's less like that. I guess that's more specifically like internet, like heavy fandom things because
Tumblr stuff. But yet people want that kind of like, I'm going to bring out some of these guns again, but like aggressively serpentine plot.
Yeah.
Massive characters with all these different interpersonal relationships to the point where the interpersonal relationships are a fucking soap opera.
Yeah, they want a soap opera because that's how soap opera people are.
Because like I think about the Ladybug fandom, and Ladybug is a delightful show. It's so cute and it's very well made and it's fun. But the fandom is like bizarre to me. How crazy it is because when you actually watch the show, it's nothing like what the fans think it is, and it's kind of like okay.
That like and that's another reason that I would prefer that I don't like. My argument isn't that like these shows need a huge fandom because it's like sometimes that's not good.
No, I think that like fandom as a concept, like as a community, is kind of a toxic concept.
No, because you can't have thousands of people and the only thing they have in common is that they like this one show.
It's like, a grand falloon. No. Fucking read Cat's Cradle. And also it's just a matter of numbers where the more people who are in it, the more awful people are going to be in it. Yeah. It's just the notion that fandom actually is a meaningful community. It just really rubs me the wrong way, and part
of that is because we've been burned by it ourselves. I mean, we're not coming from this like we're holier than thou. Like,
no. I've been so we've all been deep in this shit.
Yeah,
and we've learned from it and gone past it.
I don't really think it's anybody's fault. Fandom just seems to happen. There's no organized groups. There's no sign-up sheet. Like this is all.
Although people act like there is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And it almost seems random what people decide is worthy of gathering around.
And I know a lot of people who specifically get into shows because they see this giant tidal wave and people riding their fandom surfboards on, and they're like, I want to fucking get in on that.
Yeah, and it's not even just like, oh, this show looks... The things people are saying about this show looks cool. It's like, no, this is a cultural zeitgeist I need to be a part of. But we've been going a little long on this crazy tangent, which I think has been very interesting, but to tie it back into the actual topic, what we're saying about Star is that, like, if you love Star, and you have friends who like cartoons but aren't on the Star train, be like, hey guys, this is some more great shit.
Yeah.
It's got the stuff you like.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
In different doses, in a different mixture. It's still a phenomenal show. And if you do want to sell it this way, you can let people know, like, it's gonna fucking hit the ground running when it comes back later this year. The voice of Marco, Adam MacArthur, or maybe Arthur McAdam, but I think it's the first one, said that it's going to be spring or summer. Yeah. So not too far away.
Yeah.
It's coming back, and it really seems like it's going to be like Wander or like Steven, where stakes are higher and we're doing more stuff, but it's not going to forget its tone, and it's still going to be a fun, funny, clever, witty, cute show. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't feel like the show is going to change. I think it's just going to become more of what it always was.
It's not going to change. It's going to grow.
Yeah, that's what Steven and, Wander did. Adventure Time, I think, is a different beast. It's kind of incomparable in that
massive.
way. It's massive. It's certainly grown since, like, season 4. That's been kind of a linear growth, but, like, I don't think they knew that this was going to happen in season 1. You look at those season 1 episodes and like, this is us all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stole the tarts, and then the pudding or whatever, they're gonna beat him up.
We found these frozen zombie lawyers. Let's see what happens.
The stealing, it was the royal tart toting and the stealing the pudding. Stealing the tarts
those were 2 different episodes.
Is from Alice in Wonderland.
That is true. So, is there anything else we have to say about Star, or do you want to wrap it up?
I feel like there should be more. Like, there's a lot of great episodes we haven't talked about, some more obscure characters we haven't really gone too much in depth with, but I don't know, I just want people to watch it.
And I also think that, like... I also have a feeling we're going to be recapping this a lot more coming up. So we're going to stop talking about it.
I don't think we're going to stop talking about it anytime soon. It's delightful, and it makes me happy.
But like we were getting to, it's just a matter of the show, gaining the attention and the acclaim that it deserves. Which is, like, hard to measure and hard to enforce. But, we're saying right now, if you sat through all this and haven't checked out the show...
please do.
Please.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very good, and we think you'll like it. If you like
any of the other shows
we've talked about, yeah,
you'll probably get a kick out of it.
A lot of the best shows right now, they're all very different, but you can say, oh, if you like Steven, you'll like this because you'll still be able to appreciate what it's doing because they're doing similar enough stuff.
Yeah.
And I would say this, if you like Adventure Time, you'll like Clarence. If you like Wander, you'll like Harvey. They're very different, and it's also not a guarantee. But I think there's a common sensibility running through the majority of children's cartoons right now, where everybody's on the same basic wavelength. They've all got a very similar attitude and approach
of just being pleasant and nice.
Yeah,
but thoughtful.
A mindset and a heart set where. It's all part of one organically arisen artistic movement. It's the same way, like, I was gonna, like, bring up music, but, like, I don't know any contemporary music. I was gonna be like, hey, do you like Rancid? Check out the Distillers. Homie, that was 17 years ago. But for real, though, check out the Distillers. They're my favorite band.
They're pretty rad.
Yeah. So that's our discussion on Star, and I guess also all cartoons.
I know, I feel like a lot of our episodes have lately been like, but it's like this with all the cartoons.
Yeah. Well, we just did 2 contemporary stuff in a row.
Yeah.
That's why.